have one demand.
We have one demand.
It was genocide in 1971.
It was a genocide. We have one demand. It was a genocide in 1971.
You listen to us.
You listen to us.
Recognize that Bangladesh killing in 71 was a genocide.
It was a genocide. It was a genocide.
You will listen to us.
Today is 30th September. We are at Times Square, the most happening place in the world. And we are here all from different organizations demanding the recognition, UN recognition of genocide happened during liberation war, independence war of Bangladesh. And in that liberation war, 3 million people were killed, so 200,000 women were violated, and lot of tortures have been done. But after 9 months of struggle, we have achieved. After 51 years, on the 3rd of October, United Nations Human Rights Commission is having a session on 3rd of October. So it is late, but better late than never. So we are demanding globally, everywhere in the big cities, also in other cities and also in Bangladesh, for the recognition of genocide in Bangladesh in 1971. So this is our protest, this is our demand. We appeal to world conscience and UN Assembly to adopt a resolution recognizing the genocide in Bangladesh in 1971. Joy Bangla!
Joy Bangla!
Joy Bangla!
একাত্তরের হাতিয়ার গর্জে উঠুক আরেকবার, গর্জে উঠুক আরেকবার। জয় বাংলা!
Bangla!
জয় বাংলা! একাত্তরের হাতিয়ার মুক্তিযুদ্ধের হাতিয়ার। জয় বাংলা!
Joy Bangla!
তুমি কে আমি কে বাঙালি 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 যমুনা আমার ঠিকানা, তোমার আমার ঠিকানা, নেতা যমুনা। জয় বাংলা! জয় বাংলা!
1 minute. Dear peace-loving world citizens and fellow Bangladeshis, many of you already are aware that we gathered here to show our support towards an appeal to UN to recognize the mass killing in Bangladesh in 1971 as genocide. It is a shame for the whole humanity that 51 years have already passed. We are still appealing for its recognition. The appeal process started long time ago, and I am delighted to let you know that the issue of recognition of 1971 genocide has been included in the agenda number 3 of the 51st UNHRC session, which began on 11th of September 2022, and agenda will be discussed on October 2, 2022. Now I am requesting Ms. Shemanti Wahed to read the original memorandum submitted to UNHRC. Thank you.
The Honorable Secretary General, we trust you and your esteemed office of the United Nations are fully informed and aware of the brutal genocide that was unleashed upon the unarmed, innocent Bengalis by the Pakistani occupation forces during the 9-month war of independence of Bangladesh in 1971. Starting with the military pogrom, codenamed Operation Searchlight, the genocide was inflicted upon our population on the 25th of March 1971 and continued till the day of liberation in December 1971. About 3 million people, 3 million people were massacred. Brutal atrocities forced more than 10 million people to leave their country to inhumane sufferings as refugees. More than 20 million people were internally displaced and forced to a distressed life, and more than 200,000 women were sexually abused and violated. Many of our prominent intellectuals were victims of targeted killing to leave our nation intellectually crippled. In 2021, Bangladesh celebrated 50th anniversary of its independence, along with its remarkable progress and many socioeconomic indicators evidenced by its graduation to a developing country status. But the deep wound that still bleeds in our hearts is to see that the well-evidenced 1971 genocide, which is comparable only with Nazi Holocaust during World War II, is still not recognized by the UN and the community of nations. For long since our government, many civil society organizations, prominent individuals have been actively pursuing the cause of getting recognition of the United Nations and the community of nations of the 1971 genocide, but to no avail thus far. However, we firmly believe justice for such a heinous crime against humanity may be delayed, but can never be denied for good. This belief keeps us awake and firm in our resolve as a nation to continue to urge the UN and the community of nations to rise up to the occasion and recognize the 1971 genocide. It is of course heartening to note that during the parliamentary sessions in 2017, the Honorable Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Her Excellency Sheikh Hasina, announced 25th of March to be commemorated as National Genocide Day for the remembrance of the innocent victims of 1971 genocide and to seek justice against its perpetrators. Optimistically, the winds are changing internationally too. Some reputable organizations such as Genocide Watch, Lemkin Institute for Genocide Prevention, the International Coalition of Sites of Conscience, ICSC, have recognized the crimes committed by the military forces of Pakistan against the Bengali population in Bangladesh in 1971 as genocide, crimes against humanity and war crimes. Further, we are delighted to note that the issue of recognition of 1971 genocide has been included in the agenda number 3 of the 51st UN HRC session, which began on the 11th of September 2022. This may seem a small step, but indeed lights up our hearts with new hope for big strides ahead. Under the above context, we, the following organizations, fervently urge upon Your Excellency to proactively and passionately consider remaining true to its mission, the UN recognition of genocide. For and on behalf of all Bangladeshi residing in New York, আমরা 71 আর্টিস্ট ফোরাম, বঙ্গবন্ধু পরিষদ, বাঙালিয়ানা, বিশ্ব সাহিত্য কেন্দ্র, 21 চেতনা পরিষদ, 71 ঘাতক দালাল নির্মূল কমিটি, সম্মিলিত সাংস্কৃতিক জোট নর্থ আমেরিকা, জেনোসাইড কমিটি ফাউন্ডেশন, গণজাগরণ মঞ্চ, মানবী প্রোগ্রেসিভ ফোরাম ইউএসএ, প্রজন্ম 71, শেখ রাসেল ফাউন্ডেশন, উজিতি শিল্পী গোষ্ঠী, জাতীয় মহিলা পরিষদ, and many other organizations and many peace-loving individuals.
Okay, for all who are viewing it live or later, let me say we are here over 250 to 300 people, the whole block of 44th all the way to 45th on Broadway, Times Square, the capital of the world. And here we are here to request and solicit United Nations to accept the agenda of the genocide that happened in Bangladesh in 1971. In 9 months, starting from 25th of March, all the way to 16th of December, what we had, our people, our mothers, our fathers, our great-grandfathers were killed for freedom because we asked that we want to speak in Bengali and we want our country to be independent. And then
the Pakistanis killed indiscriminately to all over the 17 then districts in Bangladesh. Now, here are about 300 people from all walks of life, all beliefs, all walks, all the representations of the political groups. We are here just to tell United Nations why it took 51 years just to take in the agenda. Now, that is the United Nations has to answer Bangladesh or us, the international body. But here we are accepting and we are telling United Nations, the responsible authority, to accept it on 3rd October this month from all over the world. 51 to 60 countries, right, Mumbai, are doing this protest from today to 3rd October to let United Nations know that Bangladesh suffered the bloods of 3 million people, and over 200,000 women were raped, mutilated, and killed from March to December. Now, let me say in 3 minutes or 2 minutes, the main formal declaration that Babu Bhai, the General Secretary of Rakshu from 1972, brought it to us. And we all, you might not see, I tell you, here, Tajul Imam, a great artist, a freedom fighter with all the freedom fighters that you can see, Sarat Khartak, over there, Bachubai, and all other, the freedom fighter's son, Fahim Razanu, they are here. We are here not to protest. We are here to demand that the genocide in Bangladesh of 3 million people, 200,000 women, has to be accepted in the United Nations. Otherwise, what is the job of the United Nations? Why are they in New York? And let me read it in 2 minutes as Shamanti did. I'm concluding, and the others will conclude. I'll continue with this. Yeah, we will start with the handprints of Sayyid Muhammadullah, the senior journalist here, Tajul Imam, all the freedom fighters of Bangladesh who will say we are in support here in this canvas to do this. And then let me do it. Thank you, all the journalists. An appeal for United Nations recognition of 1971 genocide in Bangladesh by Pakistani. And of course, it was supported by American government, but American people, including George Harrison, Ravi Shankar, they helped Bangladesh for freedom. They helped Bangladesh for freedom. And informal, we trust all of you. You and your esteemed office in the United Nations are fully informed and aware of the brutal genocide that was unleashed upon the unnamed innocent Bengalis by the Pakistani, I tell you again, by the Pakistani army, by the Pakistani occupation forces during 9 months war of independence of Bangladesh in 1971, starting with military program condemned Operation Searchlight. The genocide was inflicted upon our population on the 25th of March 1971 and continued till the day of liberation, December 16, 1971. About 3 million people were massacred, killed, brutal atrocity, forced more than 10 million people leave the country to inhuman sufferings, and refugees, more than 20 million people were internally displaced and and forced to the distressed life. And more than 200,000 women, around us were raped, mutilated, and killed in Bangladesh by Pakistani military junta. In 2021, Bangladesh celebrated 50th anniversary. We don't have sound, but let me give you a little silence. 50th anniversary of the independence, along with the remarkable progress in many socio-economic indicators evidenced by the graduation to a developing country status. But let me not short it. Our demand here from New York, from Philadelphia. Thank you. from Philadelphia, from Connecticut, Virginia, Washington, D.C., Boston, Massachusetts, and New Jersey. We are here. We got the permission for about 500 people. But here you can see our representation, the freedom fighters of Bangladesh, the women of Bangladesh. They demand, the artists activists of Bangladesh who want the United Nations to accept the 1971 genocide of 3 million people and 200,000 women in Bangladesh. And we also ask, why United Nations does not accept this last 51 years. Now we will have national anthem. Ourselves, our life is
My name is Dubai Batin.
আমার প্রাণে বাজায় বাঁশি সোনার বাংলা আমি তোমায় ভালোবাসি ও মা ফাগুনে তোর আমের বনে গ্রামে ফাগুন ধরে
আরো 10বার বলছি ধরে আসো বড় জন্য 45 আমি রাস্তার উপরে পাবো
তোমার মতো আমার কানে লাগে তোমার মতো আতুর বদন খানি বলে আমি জয় বাংলা, জয় বাংলা, জয় বাংলা। We have one demand. It was genocide in 1971. We have one demand. It was genocide in 1971. Joy Bangla! Joy Bangla! আপনি পড়বেন, আপনি পড়েন ওই সেম জিনিসটা আবার কোনা দাও কি করবে স্যার? ওকে ওকে ঠিক আছে, ওকে কি করবে, রেডি আছে কি করবে? ওর নামটা বলেন, আপনি বলেন এইটা এখান পুরোটা আপনি বলেন এটা যে পুরোটা It's live.
I'm Dennis Julius Oisho, one of the young members of Sheikh Russell Foundation. This is late September and in the northeast part of the United States, where we usually face bad weather due to our hurricane season. Despite the weather, I came here along with many young friends of mine to ask a question to the mighty United Nations. The devilish, disgusting massacre happened in 1971 on our land is not a genocide. 1971 Pakistan tried to ease an entire nationality called Bangladeshi. They wanted to erase our language, culture, our people from this world's map. Is it not a genocide? Why the United Nations doesn't recognize this demonic act as genocide? In 1971, 3 million very innocent civilians were tortured and killed brutally. No one had absolutely anything to do to deserve this. About 400,000 women were raped. Many were gang raped and brutally tortured and humiliated publicly. They killed our innocent children. They didn't stop there. They burned our homes, burned our crops, poisoned our water, burned our hospitals and libraries. Then they took whatever they could with them, including young women. So as a nation, we die immediately. Now, my question to the United Nations, how many more lives had to be sacrificed to let the world know this was a genocide? How many more women need to be publicly disrobed, raped and burned, alive and torched? How many more mothers had to cry on her children's torched, rotten corpses? How loud orphans and widows had to cry for your attention? How many times my little friends and I have to come out in weather like this to plead for your attention? This is not a genocide? If this was not a genocide, then please change your definition.
Ladies and gentlemen, an appeal for United Nations recognition of 1971 genocide in Bangladesh. The Honorable Secretary General, we trust you and your esteemed office of the United Nations are fully informed and aware of the brutal genocide that was unleashed upon the unarmed innocent Bengalis by the Pakistani occupation forces during the 9-month war of independence of Bangladesh in 1971, starting with military program codenamed Operation Searchlight. The genocide was inflicted upon our population on the 25th of March.
Yeah, you're right.
More than 10 million people to leave their country.
and forced to express life, and more than 200,000 women were sexually abused and violated. Many of our prominent intellectuals were victims of targeted killings to leave our nation intellectually crippled.
কাজী ভাইকে 1 মিনিট একটু বলবেন এটা কি আঁকতেছেন কেন আঁকতেছেন
এটা
অন রেকর্ড
আমি গণহত্যার বা জেনোসাইডের জন্য মানে যে ফায়ারিং স্কোয়াড ছিল আমি ফায়ারিং স্কোয়াডের দেয়ালের ছবি আঁকছি পেছনে ধ্বংসযজ্ঞ বাড়ি ঘরে আগুন লাগানো হয়েছে
During World War II, was still not recognized by the UN and the community of nations. For long since our government, many civil society organizations, prominent individuals have been actively pursuing the cause of getting recognition of the United Nations and the community of nations of the 1971 genocide, but to no avail thus far. However, we firmly believe justice for such a heinous crime against humanity may be delayed but can never be denied for good. This belief keeps us awake and firm in our resolve as a nation to continue to urge the United Nations and the community of the nations to rise up to the occasion and recognize the 1971 genocide.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I request you, if you support our demand, please put your hand impression here, one by one, from this side. Please do it.
That's a vibe. Short term is going to be a movie like ওইটা পড়া ছাড়া আর কিছু বলা যাবে শুধু ওইটাই কাগজটা দিয়ে দেন
আমি দিচ্ছি আপনি পড়েন আচ্ছা পুরাটা না পারলে অর্ধেকটা পড়েন অর্ধেকটা আরেকজনকে দেন
এক প্যারা করে এক প্যারা ভাগ করে আছে
একটু প্যারা পড়েন এটুকু বলেন
Ladies and gentlemen, we are together here with a very, very big demand to United Nations. We trust you and your esteemed office of the United Nations are fully informed and aware of the brutal genocide that was unleashed upon the unarmed innocent Bengalis by the Pakistani occupation forces at that time. During the 9-month 1971 war of independence of Bangladesh in 1971, starting with military program, condemned Operation Searchlight and genocide was inflicted upon our population on the 25th of March 1971 and continued till the day of liberation in 1977. I strongly demand that the United Nations recognize that killing in Bangladesh by Pakistan Army that as a genocide. I strongly demand that after 50 years, we still demand and we are urging for that recognition. Thank you.
জয় বাংলা জয় বাংলা জয় বাংলা জয় বাংলা, একাত্তরের হাতিয়ার পদ্মমেঘনা যমুনা, তোমার আমার ঠিকানা। জয় বাংলা, একাত্তরের হাতিয়ার